Sugarcane is a weed, but today it's part of our identity, and it's helping us to change the landscape of Martinique.
We have this age-old know-how here, especially for making dark rum, because we're the ones who developed it and gave it the reputation it has today.
The site has been operating for 150 years. It was first a sugar refinery and then switched to rum making in 1938. Then we got AOC status in 1996. It's a trade that just keeps on going.
Sheltered from the warm sea breeze in the village of Vieux-Morne sits one of the jewels of Martinique's heritage, the Saint-Étienne rum factory. Originally, it was a distillery built in 1880 on the site of the island's first sugar plantation.
Martinique made its name in sugar production for mainland France and Europe. And then, between 1915 and 1920, sugar beet came along, and Martinique was forced to invent a new model, based on the production of its traditional dark rum.
The distillery, which shut up shop over 30 years ago, is now one of the island's listed buildings.
The legacy is all around us in these buildings. Here we're standing in a place that's absolutely marvellous, with a rich heritage where lots of our rum is stored to mature.
Inside these barrels, a truly exceptional rum is being fermented.
It's very round, very delicate, like toasted cocoa, not chocolate, but cocoa. It's ready. Martinique is the only French overseas territory to have an AOC status. These are exceptional products, and this is really a rum that can be tasted like a fine wine, but can also be compared to a great cognac or an Armagnac.
This traditional rum rivals the best spirits, not to be compared with industrial rum, which is made from molasses, a cane syrup from which all sugar is extracted.
If I got you to taste a teaspoon of sugarcane, you would obviously smell all the aromas, and well, what sets us apart with our dark rum is that we distill a pure juice rum. By that I mean one that hasn't been transformed and isn't based on the residue of a long sugar refining process.
To understand rum, you first have to understand the sugarcane. In the surrounding hills, you can still find people who cut the cane by hand, but the growing demands of production have modernized the way the crop is gathered. Françoise Elisabeth runs the Lapelin plantation, where the harvest is already in full swing.
The sugarcane is harvested once a year, and we start normally at the end of January, beginning of February, and finish around the end of June. And today we have to cut 250 tons of it.
Her plantation is spread out over miles of clay marshlands, the perfect conditions for the sugarcane to grow.
It's great to have a good variety of cane which adapts to the ground it's growing in, that not only produces more, but also has more sugar so that more rum can be made too.
It's said that sugarcane grows in abundance like a weed, but in Martinique there still isn't enough to keep up with demand.
It's the only culture that lacks raw materials, so there's really a great opportunity for Martinique to develop in the future. We need to produce lots more cane so that we can provide more sugar to the distilleries, so that more rum can be produced. I think that's marvellous.
A few kilometres away, the Simon distillery produces 20% of the island's rum. The site's manager, Philippe, comes from a very old family of white settlers. He knows his land inside out and can guarantee the quality of his cane from just one bite.
It's an AOC sugarcane. I'm checking that it's fresh and that it's sweet. That's what we want from it.
The sugarcane now begins the fermentation process before it's distilled in this 200-year-old copper vat, which gives the cane a unique taste.
We have about 20 people working with us. They're all descendants. Their fathers and grandfathers all worked here too. So we're completely rooted in the heritage of the island. We're really part of its fabric.
This, then, is the perfect recipe for a great rum. Knowledge that's been handed down for years mixed with a clever little trick. fermenting the rum in barrels from the other side of the world.
We have oak barrels from France, from Limousin, from Quercy, and we also use barrels that have contained alcohol before, which allows us to give character to our older rums and give them a nice finish. It was in this way that we developed finishes using barrels from Bordeaux, like our Highland finish, the Hailey finish, or the Pedro Jimenez.
It's just one way of reinventing the Caribbean islands' identity.
You can come from Martinique and be a citizen of the world. That doesn't mean revolutionizing everything, it just means integrating our own strengths and know-how and making sure that our heritage flourishes in today's world, so that this passion can be shared by as many people as possible.